Yeah. You can just send my YouTube to Beowulf. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday show, Horatio. And it looks like you're in the center today, Delaney. You get the
You can
special.
shuffle.
You get the special spot. I can, but
You'd like the great Paul Lynde right in the middle.
Center
Jews,
square.
Jews. You know he was a famous anti-Semite. Right?
Get
I
out
did
of here,
not
was
know
he?
that.
Yeah, it
As
was talking
long
about
as
it on
there's
us.
no
That was,
Jews.
yeah, that was Stern's.
I don't know.
Howard Stern's impression.
Okay.
Fucking Jews. Yeah, supposedly, yeah. Don't care for him.
I thought he must have been the funniest man alive because I thought Hollywood Squares was improvised. And Paul Lynde always
No.
seemed to have the best lines, and he had a great one-liner for everything.
It's so
Right.
bad. Like the writers were like, this one's for Paul Lynn. Like, nope, no,
Mhm.
fucking Joey Heatherton doesn't get this. Nope, Paul
No,
Lynn.
give the doozies. You wanted to kill? Give the doozies to Paul Lynde. He's number one on the cast list after the host, whatever Peacock.
Then you got Lonesome George Goebel.
George Goebel. And
Who
he
was the host? You guys remember? It was
Peter
Peter Lecoq, I think was his real name.
was not Lecoq.
It was for real. I think that the stage name you'll know, but the guy's name is Lecoq.
I think it was Latoit.
Well, maybe.
I don't remember his name.
Peter. I guess I can look it up. What's
I'm looking it up
People
now
want to see us
on my
struggle for
supercomputer.
5 minutes in the age of Google.
Say it again.
Wouldn't the audience rather see us struggle to remember a name for 5 minutes? Here,
Yes.
Google. So
Peter
Jared,
Marshall.
click on that.
Peter Marshall.
Of course, Peter Marshall. Any relation to Penny Marshall?
And Gary?
No.
And Gary?
Penny Marshall, Gary and Penny Marshall. There's a power.
Can you guys see that?
Sister duo.
Peter Marshall.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't read it, can you?
And Ralph Pierre Lecoq.
It was Lecoq
and
after all.
And it's seriously Lecoq, like L-A and then big C. Like
and his son, I guess his son played baseball, so I remember his son's name from baseball. He was Pete Lecoq too. Not Pete Lecoq too, also.
the second, but Pete Lecoq, T-O-O.
Yeah.
That's a deep reference.
Pete Lecoq
when you're a kid, you don't forget stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That sticks in there.
Yeah. That's the shit that's in the 13-year-old mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like it's seriously like the Dick. Like he was seriously named Peter.
Yeah, like how are they even saying that? No wonder he changed his name.
And his name was Peter too, which is another name for Dick.
Oh. The double dip.
That's right. Dick.
I
think my voice is like challenging Delaney. I'm going to speak a little louder too.
I think you sound
because
great.
I could see like Delaney a little bewildered by when I'm talking. And I don't think it's the regular bewilderment.
No, it's.
Are you hearing me okay?
Else. I'm double tasking. I'm trying to text our link to Beowulf as I listen.
Oh, okay. Well, while you do that, we can continue.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, you sent me a very funny video.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that or no?
Yeah, let's see if I can. Let me find it. Well, first I wanted to show you what the thumbnail was for this show.
Oh yes. I didn't send it to anything. Should I? I mean, I can't now.
Why?
Send what, my video?
Because it'll make you look as bewildered as I look when I'm posting.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me actually put it on Facebook, but nobody responds or clicks. So, but whatever. I'm going to put it up there now. The Thursday hang.
So
Jerry, you got a nice composite photo of the three of us. You look good. Raj looks great. But you pulled a picture of me from that dumb Switzerland gig I had to do for their like tourism board, where they put me in a bow tie. I look like Bill Nye, the science guy from 1983.
I tried to find
question marks all over his suit.
Goofball comic.
I saw the I saw the picture, and I'm like, I'll take the goofy one. You had a few out here.
I'll take.
Yeah, you gotta always put the goofy one for you. That's extra clicks, man. You see a guy with a bow tie, you're like, yeah, I got to get a load of this guy.
Now this week
so
I got
me as the square, and I'm definitely the square of the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so that's the thumbnail for this week. We're supposed to be giving young men's life advice: dating, girls, washings, stealing dirty magazines, and video games.
Young men's definitely got to wash they stuff down there, and young ladies too.
Yeah,
you got to keep it fresh. Ask your mother, ask your auntie, whoever you need to ask how to do it or whatever. But I was told at a young age how to clean my penis, and I never forgot. I try to do it often.
Ask them. Don't ask me. I'm just telling you what you need to do. Don't get me into it because I'll get in trouble. Because I have told kids specifically what to do, how to wash their behinds, and I got in trouble. People got mad at me just because I didn't want the school stinking up. It's my fault. I don't want the school smelling like a zoo.
You can't clean up their little butts. You just got to let them figure it out.
They got to do that on their own. I figured that out. I know that now.
That was the janitor in Jerry's school, his elementary school.
It's actually it's Horatio's gym teacher.
Did you try to?
We've been doing an impression of him for years.
No, my he was my math teacher. What's it called? I don't know. Homeroom. He was my homeroom teacher. And he looked like he played in a funk band. He was missing teeth. And he was a big guy with a long head, beautiful hair. I think he had that a Reverend Al Sharpton. He has a nice Sharpton mane.
He had a processed dude, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he was looking good and he was confident, but he must have been like in a band or something and like some kind of situation where he got a lot of sex.
I was
he was like, mm-hmm.
Oh, you're
I was a
what
pimp.
Do you teach? Homeroom?
I teach homeroom and I teach math. Believe it or not. Now you don't come in here stinking and being nasty. I mean, you got to wash yourselves. You're at an age now. Yeah, that was my my homeroom teacher. And my gym teacher was the one that said that we should beat the kid who pissed in the locker room. They said we should all figure it out and beat his ass. That's what they would do in the Army. And we were like, we're not. I don't care that much about this locker. Beat some guy, try to fight some guy. No one wanted to. It's like, what are you talking about?
The health teacher was always a coach. Our coach gave us a speech about how white people stink too. He said something.
Hey, they had to cover everybody.
Say it again, Delaney.
What kind of lecture is that, South
Florida? Hey, for everybody out there that thinks they're better than them. And you are, but
that was him being progressive for the time.
Progressive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's progressive in Florida. Probably wasn't easy. So yeah, that's you got the same advice.
The other coach taught health, and his big speech was, "Now listen, I used to eat 2 or 3 pork chops. Now I only eat 1 or 2. They would just talk about their lives. You had to like listen to them monologize.
Well,
And
they
there'd
all
be something health
all our
related.
teachers were in Vietnam. All our teachers were in Vietnam, or they they evaded Vietnam. So,
Definitely so.
and yeah,
Soldiers.
that's why I remember my men teachers being mostly insane. Like I had in public school, like 3 of them were just like if you saw them in the street, you'd be like, oh boy, you know.
Yeah, I was saying that like I don't remember having that many male. I play a teacher, and I don't remember having
That's right. That's right.
that many male teachers when I was growing up. And the only one of the ones I remember having was dating my aunt.
So that was weird.
And he was terrible, and he was an asshole.
Imagine that.
What would he be like at family gatherings? Like, would he bring it up in the classroom?
No, he never did, which was cool. He never did bring it up in class. But I just come over to my aunt's house and he'd be sitting in the he's fucking here. Hey.
Was he terrible?
He's just a jerk. He just didn't, he didn't talk. He was, he had a son too. He had a son my age that was like my age, so he'd come over and he'd like, go and play with Jerry. And I'm like, fuck, come on, man. I was just like, why is this happening? Why is this dude like he's my science teacher? Why is this dude at my aunt's house? How did they fucking meet? The fuck?
Why is this happening?
That is wild.
Yeah, and he was just a jerky teacher. Like you turn your homework in, barely talk to us.
Yeah, it's a little crazy, right?
Yeah, and he was a science teacher too, so he was kind of a nerd.
That school, that teacher social line that didn't feel right to cross.
I didn't.
Teacher asked us, Nikki Katzenpoulos and I were acting up. And she said, like, what do we need to do? Do you want to go out, get a hamburger and French fries? We're like, oh my God, no. Like, no, that would compound everything much worse.
You see one of your teachers at the grocery store or something? It's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
I saw my teacher at a concert, Cheap Trick, back in the 80s. I saw my library teacher, kind of like another homeroom kind of guy, very funny guy, Mr. Gill. Mr. Gill. He looked like Mr. Gill. And he's like, hey guys, how you doing? I'm like, oh my God, you're here. It was just like, hey. And I'm like, we're like 12 or something. So it's like, we should, we knew you couldn't hang for long. It was like, yeah, great concert. To see you later.
Bye. Goodbye.
That was the first time I was like, oh, they're human also. They're like us.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
We're in our brains, they're like the keepers. So we'll always have a little.
In your brain, they're in this other land of authoritarianism.
Yeah.
I mean, after playing one, you have this realization because you think that your life, that everything revolves around you. And teachers are not thinking, when they're not in class with you, they are not thinking about you. So
yeah, and you do, you wonder about them, like, what do they do?
Yeah, they go to their lives.
Nothing normal.
After hanging out and drinking with teachers, and I'm like, I gotta go be in class in like 2 hours.
Everybody
else, like everybody else. And especially like the younger they are, the more you'll like find somebody hanging out late at night. Like, oh, I got a 3rd grade class tomorrow because they don't know the difference. Miss Johnson smells like my dad.
That's why I get freaked out when the teacher would burst into tears. Also,
you didn't know what they were going through.
Whoa, what is going on?
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, you're a responsible adult. You this took that much out.
Yeah, no no one really explained to me about hormones or anything about women. So I was just like, what's wrong with that person? She's a bitch. Like,
What a
like
woke,
they're going.
what a nice
They're
woke thing to say.
Crying. Crying.
I wouldn't call her a bitch if she was crying. I'd just be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Horatio, did you call the teacher a bitch? You just
Never, 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 ever, ever.
Crying. Stop, bitch.
No, I didn't. I didn't know you could have a period or you could be crying about anything because you're young. You're like, what are you crying about? Or like, oh my God, someone's crying. That's like shocking.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, you're crying, bitch. I'm on my period, you little fucking garbage person.
Jerry, I got a friendly note from John Branch saying that you guys are louder than me. He told me to turn my mic up, but all I got is this mic that came with my iPhone.
Why don't you get another a better microphone?
You know, I tried to put my Yeti. I tried to hook up my Yeti, but it wouldn't have it. It wouldn't work. You guys couldn't hear me.
Oh.
Yeah, mine. I tried.
One day, if we ever showed up early and did a sound check, I might try it.
Right.
Well, just
we could do that.
Just keep that thing close to your face. Just tape it close to your mouth. You got duct tape?
Oh, like Bill Murray and Where the Buffalo Roam, where you have a wild turkey rigged up to his face.
Exactly.
No, it looks like
exactly
I'm in a
that.
hospital now. Now it looks like an oxygen tube or a feeding tube or something like. Hey guys.
I mean,
well,
that's what people do on the internet too. Everybody wants to hold a fucking mic, which I don't understand why people do that. But everybody wants to hold a mic up to their face.
Maybe
because they're amateurs, Jerry. It's amateurish.
Clacking. They don't want it to clack on all their bling and frill and taffeta.
I can make you one of those things that like holds it. I could hook up
like Kate
a coat hanger, tape the thing on it, and then you could just wear it for I'll send it to you.
That's what Kate did in her first tour. They didn't have those things like Madonna had later, who copied her. Kate had to make it out of a wire hanger. Put the little mic on the wire hanger.
Oh,
wow!
On the spaghetti strainer, so she could
great
dance
minds think alike. Yeah.
Right. You're the Kate Bush of your time.
I don't know if anybody realizes what I've been doing. I've been messing with this 5150 show. There's a on my channel. If you want to go to it, don't do it now.
What is it, Jerry? What is it? I
have a documentary on my channel about this show called the 5150 Show. And if everybody's watching, you might as well know. Like, I've been making fun of this dude, Corey Holcomb, who's a stand-up comic. He's one of the people that like say that everybody, you have to be gay to be in Hollywood, and all black men are,
have to be a bitch to be.
Yeah, to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And he's been fighting everybody. He was fighting, I don't know if people know Ashy Larry from the Chappelle Show. They got in a fight at the comedy club. Yeah, he was saying that shit, and then Ashy Larry came in, was saying some stuff, and they got into it. And they've been going back and forth because they were in a club saying shit. It's been about a year of that. And he gets into it with a lot of comics. There's another comic, Godfrey, he's been calling gay. He calls everybody gay. So long story short, I just made this documentary saying that that the podcast that he does was actually an ape, a talking ape doing it.
Yeah. And, well, how about what do you want? Can you show it or?
Yeah, he has a lot of different podcasts talk about him, and so this podcast was doing a podcast about him, and I was watching live, and I put this little comment in. How about I do this?
5150 from Van Halen. It's the code for criminally insane or something.
It's the California code for insanity. Yeah.
Oh. Why from Van Halen? I thought theirs was OU812.
That was before that. I think they did that before, but that was OU812, which was genius. I loved it.
That's middle school genius.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I was maybe a little too old to love it. I was maybe like in 19, 20. Oh, you ate one too? I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. These guys don't give a fuck, and that's what you want out of rock and roll. It's just like, I don't care. I'll challenge, what's her face, Gore.
I was listening to Basketball Jones this morning because it's in. I'm doing this show about being there and being there. Basketball Jones by the.
They play a good chunk of it too. They play a nice.
A real big chunk of it.
Onto that video.
Well, somebody
Jerry, being there is my favorite. One of like my top 5 favorite movies, if not my favorite movie.
Well, you gotta listen. I'm doing a podcast with Matt Walsh about movies, and we're doing Being There. We're talking about Being There.
Oh, okay, cool. I will definitely. I love to watch that.
Any movie with the president. But yeah, so I was watching it to get ready for it, and I realized Basketball Jones was in it, and I looked it up, and they were like, somebody was saying that the way they mixed it in the movie was really because so you could really hear the sound of the song, and it wasn't just a mic. What do you call it? Diegetic recording or what? It wasn't just a mic recording the inside of the car because he's watching it in the car.
It goes bigger, and we see that grand entrance of Chauncey going into the house, being carried into the house. Because it's a killer song. I mean, George Harrison plays on that song. It's like a wrecking crew playing on that.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like Keith Richards. It's like crazy. Who played on that song?
It's like it's a lot of it's improvised because he's just talking through a lot of it.
Cheech thinks they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
If you listen to their songs, because I remember, and I forgot that it was Cheech and Chong. I had those records. I had Basketball Jones. That cartoon, by the way, is really offensive. Like the dude's lips are like they cover his whole face. You can't see his lips.
But it's Cheech, so close.
It was weird because back then, they did this thing called Bloat On. And there was a song called Float On at the time. Yeah.
The Floaters.
By the Floaters.
What a band's big hit is also their name.
The name?
The death knell.
Yeah. It's one and done. One and done.
Yeah.
Even Who Let the Dogs Out, they had a different name. They weren't Who Let the Dogs Out band.
That's the death note.
They had Bloat. If you listen to Bloat On now, because I thought that was the funniest thing in the world when I was a kid, and you listen to it now, you're like, oh my god, it's so offensive. It's like
I don't know it. I missed it.
The original Floaters, Float On, is already like a comedy number.
Right.
Cancer, and my name is Larry.
It's not my name, it's Larry.
The woman who loves everything and
everybody.
It's one of those.
I fucking remember all the words. Cancer, and my name is Larry. And I love a woman who loves everything and everybody. And then there was the guy with the high voice.
This is you. Yeah.
Hi, this is Sugar. This is Sugar Sweet. So they did it in Bloat On. And Bloat On, they just made him gay, the guy with the high voice. Hi, I'm Sugar. And then they have a Chinese man.
Oh yeah, because Chong.
Chong.
No.
Chong justifies it.
Chong justifies it. It's crazy. I can't even do it. I can't even do a word from it. It's insane.
All I remember from Bloat On is now in Float On, each member of the band gets to say his astrological sign and what kind of woman he loves.
Right.
In Bloat On, I don't know what they say, but you get to describe your favorite burger.
No, it's just different kind of food. Like Larry.
All different foods.
And yeah, because Larry says, for one of them says, I like seafood because everything I see, I eat. The oldest joke in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. The one with the high voice, like sweet stuff.
There's another Cheech and Chong song.
It's another Cheech and Chong song. I think it might be on that same album as Basketball Jones.
Jerry, I was very surprised when the internet came around and I finally found out where Basketball Jones came from, to find out it was Cheech and Chong. I mean, you could tell it's Cheech once you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I didn't. I think as a kid, I really didn't know that was Cheech and Chong until I got because that came out when I was really little. And then when I got older, I started listening to more Cheech and Chong. And it was on one of their albums. And I was like, oh, I know that song. Because I had the single. I didn't have the record. And I was probably so young, I probably didn't even know how to read.
I gotta confess, that was on Milo's regular rotation of songs just to play around the house when he was a kid.
What? Blow Down or Basketball Jones?
Basketball Jones.
I mean, it's in Space Jam, so
it's a good song. I just like the song.
Okay, so anyway, I got off on a tangent, but I've been making fun of this show, and so I called in, or I was a commenter in another live video that was talking about him.
Jerry Minor says there's a documentary about 5150 that says the show is really about a silverback gorilla that's holding two people hostage and making them What?
I believed you, Jerry. When you told me that, I believed you.
What?
So it's just the guy laughing for 50 seconds.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yep, he's having a good fall.
That is insane, bro. Oh man, maybe I'm just high. That shit is too funny for no reason. Let me chill.
That's not. There's a reason.
Come on, man. I don't know. Maybe I got hit in the head with a broomstick this morning, and I'm not thinking right. Just compliment it. You know what I mean?
The effort that I put in, I came up with, and there's a whole sketch about this. You can go see it. I don't know, just for no reason, I laughed for 1 minute.
Yeah. You know. I don't know what the fuck's going on with me today, but this shit's funny.
Maybe I'm high. Maybe I'm just high. Maybe I'm stupid.
It could be the crystal meth.
Maybe it's I have trauma from I saw someone get shot yesterday. Maybe that trauma is just kind of making me feel weird, but. Shit funny, dude.
You should have saw my face while he's having this.
I love it. That's very fun to get to be able to see that. You know,
no, in
someone
real time,
laughing and guffawing. Yeah, it's great.
It's only me and him. Me, the only people laughing in the whole world. Like jokes for one person.
That's how it's gotten. One person's good enough, baby. One person, we got to do the best show we can.
And that's what I'm announcing right now. I'm going to be doing personal shows for one person. So there will be $50,000 a show to cover my expenses.
Yeah, you could call it your one-man show.
One-man show?
Man watching the show.
That's a really good idea. I should put $1 million on my Cameo and see if just some fucking lunatic in Dubai is like, okay, man, show me your asshole.
Supposedly
that's all I need. One cameo. I'm like, woo, boy.
That's the idea. You could do it on only. That's supposedly the idea of OnlyFans. It's not supposed to be only for porn. It's supposed to be like, if you're a fan of mine, I can do a private show for you.
Yeah, well, that was also that Black Mirror episode where the guys are having to do all this weird gay shit just to pay the bills. And not weird gay shit,
How dare you? Bring in
it's not weird at all. Beautiful, beautiful gay stuff.
Jerry,
to straight people. Cheech and I was just thinking about a great name for something. Cheech and Chong do the thong song.
I hate that
That's
song.
good. I like that.
Right? The Thong Song and Cheech and Chong. That's a nice.
That's
What do
funny
you call
because
that,
like
Delaney?
Now that song offends me, so I would like to see Cheech and Chong do something with it.
you know what, it shouldn't offend you.
Why?
You
I
should think
love
of,
that. I truly love that song.
you should think about it like that. Like it's a novel, a comedy novelty song, not a serious song.
I just saw a video of
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Cisco and the guy who Cisco's like, I want this thing from a movie. So they got the violinist that did the track for the movie, and he's like, I want it to be like da 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 da, and he's like, you want this? Da, 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 da. Like the first time he played it was what's on the record. He's like, that exactly that. So that's a professional, super like Hollywood guy who's recorded like 100 soundtracks. They paid him, then he comes in and he just like writes basically the best part of it. But it's Cisco that had the brain to do that. Like, I'm gonna go there right to the fucking source while I have this money.
That's great.
That's the story about the Thong Song.
So he heard it was like a what do you call a score, and he was like, I want that sound.
Mm-hmm. Or he just he wanted something like that, but then the violinist came in and just like right away did, how about this? And he's like, yeah, that's it. Like, I'm sure there's a little exaggeration in the story, but
or if he'd have played another thing, he'd have been like, oh, wait a minute. And then that would have ruined it. It's like, I can't decide between the two.
Oh, yeah. He's like, sit on this one for a minute. Just sit on this one. Tell me what you think.
No, it's great. Well, let me just play one more thing. And oh shit! Oh shit!
He wants to do that one.
No, I can't decide.
Raj, when you said there's more to the story, I spaced for a second. I thought he meant there was more to the story of the song. I'm like, oh, is the Thong Song a story song? Oh.
Well, it is. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It really respects the thong and women. He puts them up on a pedestal, and he's just saying like,
so you can see it.
So just high enough that he can see what's going on up there. You know what I mean? But he loves the thong, and he just wants to sing about it. It's not like, hey, bitch, start wearing thongs or get out of my house. It's an ode, a love song to the thong.
To see a thong. No, I get that. I get the main thread.
Or just like the butt is beautiful. Like, it's easy to get into that thing where the butt's so beautiful, I adore it. It's my God. and then when you put a thong through it, some guys' minds are blown. That's not me.
I feel like a lot of those songs have a little bit of a sinister undertone.
Well, it's a very cool lick. I mean, I should just Google it so we could hear it. It's a very cool little lick in the beginning of the Cisco song, Thong Song.
And it's used, that sample is used in Drake's diss song for Kendrick Lamar. His diss song, the last part of it, he used
that's a fucking... You don't use a treasure. You don't put a treasure on a piece of turd like that.
It's actually the best one, though. It's the best thing that Drake did out of that whole thing.
Really? Yeah. I didn't hear it because no one really talked about that one.
No,
because
that's where
the feuding should happen. The feuding should happen on the vinyl and not in the streets with the guys.
Oh, you think it should be on vinyl and then submit it to like a judge?
Yes. If you take out some beef on some other musician, do it on vinyl. Don't do it in the streets.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Let's see if this works out. It'd be great. It'd be beautiful if it did.
Do it on the comedy stage.
Yeah.
Need a flooring replacement. The number one reason is not about planning.
Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm just waiting for this girl to bring my daughter back. They went to the mall or something. Yo, well, Nokia and Jazz is on the Baltimore bus. We'll graduate. But what's gonna fly it? Yeah, man, I'm not thinking about it. Because we're just sitting there and I'm just, hold on, dude. Wondering, wait a minute, hold on, dog. What's up? What's this?
Shows him a thong.
This thing right here is letting all the ladies know what guys talk about. You know, the finer things. Check it out. Ooh, that dress so scandalous, and you know another couldn't handle it.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, that was great. You got to cut it off now.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Was that 14 seconds?
Yeah, I think it's 14 seconds, right?
It's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. Cut it out later.
That long? 14?
I think, how long do you get? You get like something for free.
Something like that, yeah.
Like 7 seconds
Oh, maybe
or
it is
something?
4. You know, they did it in Atlanta, in the show Atlanta, for the first season. They would just play 4 seconds of a song, like at the top of a scene.
Love
they
it.
could get away
Get
with
around, you get around it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great cheat.
I mean,
Isn't that great?
I don't hate ripping off music people, but you know, yeah, in that case, because they're the fucking just leeching a bunch of money off them.
Well, at the beginning of TV, it was kind of guerrilla. You know, that's why they had such a hard time releasing SCTV. And they couldn't release it intact. They had to butcher it up to suck out a lot of that music because they couldn't get all the rights for all the music.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it was easier for SNL because when SNL sold stuff, they would either keep the musical performances or just take them out. And SCTV put those musical performances in the sketch, and that made it hard to get them out.
There was that. And
oh, they did that?
There was only one.
Yeah.
There was only one musical guest that didn't make it to the DVD from SCTV. That was Carl Perkins. He was the holdout.
I thought that what's his face didn't make it either. Fine 100 Ways. Who did that song?
No, I think he made it into the DVD.
Oh, did he? Because I thought they had to cut that whole sketch.
Yeah, James Ingram.
James Ingram, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it did make it in.
Yeah, he's on the DVD.
On the wings of love.
Because it's funny. That I remember it being really funny that the sketch that he was in.
Yeah, the 3D House of Beef.
The House of Beef, yeah.
Oh, that's got the All-Stars in it. That's an all-star sketch, that one.
Yeah, Count Floyd opens a restaurant with Dr. Tongue and Woody Tobias Jr.
And then then there's a disaster.
They turned their 3D franchise into a restaurant, basically.
But explain where it is and what it is. Delaney.
Me?
Yeah.
3D House
Wake up, man.
on SCTV. It's a sketch on SCTV where it's weird because it's supposed to be 3D and they're selling 3D glasses to people who are sitting there live watching James Ingram. So the whole James Ingram live audience has 3D glasses on.
And they do it like this. Yeah, they do. This is like how they do 3D.
Oh.
Hey, someone was murdered last night.
Raj, you want to borrow my lighter? It's always the most gratuitous version. Would you like
John Candy?
Joint?
Oh,
where's the camera?
And
where the camera is.
Horatio, we forgot about this too. It's the thong song, that song that he's playing on the violin is Eleanor Rigby. Oh.
Yes, so says John Branch.
And it is.
Who knew?
He'll be back.
Eleanor Rigby, what an elegant, simple song. Really grabbed you as a kid. It sounds, but compared to all the stuff that's going on in popular music now, there's so many layers to everything. Eleanor Rigby sounds rather sparse. Back in the day, it sounded so complex.
Did you hear that, Haraj?
About Eleanor Rigby?
Yeah.
What about
That's what I
Eleanor
noticed
Rigby?
today is its austerity, not it being like so full, because it's really rich, but there's not that many instruments being played.
The song, the thong song, the song he's
Wait,
playing on the
did he?
violin is Eleanor Rigby.
Oh yes, yes. So that's what he said. He heard it on Eleanor Rigby and wanted to that sample, right? So
Rod, you're on a delay. You
So
see,
what did it? Is it
coming
the?
from the Mir spacecraft? Did you change modes?
The microphone experiment doesn't work. This is just me straight into the microphone. Is that better or same shit?
It'll catch up.
It might be the horrible internet or something.
No, it was just a delay. You went into a delay. I don't think it was the mic wasn't the problem.
Oh, you're saying I'm speaking like I'm in a delay?
Yeah,
like
it just seemed like you were like,
what's going on? What's everything going on too? That's cool. Yeah, I like what's going on here. It's a good time.
What is
I'm sorry I'm delayed. You're going to have to take me delayed?
No, you're good
you get
now.
Delayed?
You're good now.
Did you get delayed?
By the way, nobody go to Newark at the airport. My wife just canceled a trip to Newark because that airport's all fucked up.
Apparently, it's the most dangerous path. What? Go ahead.
If I was going to come out and see you, I don't think I'm going to be able to come. 2 reasons. I don't want to fly out of Newark. And also, Milo wants to get married in June, so I don't know what's going on. I might have to have some emergency stuff going on.
Well, you know what?
Okay,
Hey,
that's fine.
How about this? Let me ask you guys about this. What if we met up in Chicago this summer again?
That'd be
I'd love to.
Like in August?
I won't be there in August.
July?
I'll be there in July. I'll be there in June and July.
Are you going there for 4th of July?
Are you chilling?
I will be there for 4th of July. Just chilling. We're renting a house in Evanston.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's cool.
So everybody, come on out. Look for me. Come and kill me.
I blew my hand off last 4th.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
I blew it off with an M150.
That's my stuff. Now we match. I didn't blow mine off. I was born this way. Oh, the finger stayed. Is he frozen?
Find a fuck. Oh yeah, he is frozen. But I'm finding something anyway, so it's all good.
He froze on a bird. That's a pretty good still.
That's pretty good, yeah. I hope you can come back because I got something he will love. There he is.
He'll be back. He'll be back. We lost him last week.
Yeah, we go. It's happy to have you back.
My new set. See my new.
Listen, set I really need to fix this is a problem I've been having, but I have to get a new situation with the internet here.
I mean, there he lost him again.
Looks like Rod's got to call the cable company. Maybe change. See if he can change out. Sometimes you got no choice. They really monopolize those neighborhoods, don't they?
They do. That's true. I'm in the same situation here, but it's the other way around where they just gave us all the best internet. It wasn't my choice. They gave us fiber.
Okay.
I need to eat more fiber. Is that what you guys are talking about?
You got a clip, Jerry?
Have you ever seen this?
Money on the mouth, Vernon. You can't see him on my camera. My shit all fucked, so it don't even matter. Down here. Oh shit! Oh, Jesus! 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 Lord, Jesus! Jesus! Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus. Jesus. Oh, Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Oh, shit. Whoa, whoa. That was awesome. That was awesome right there. God damn. Wow, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Get the water, nigga. Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy. Get the water, nigga. It's going down. Oh, the motherfucking bootleg fireworks shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Do they get it out?
Blame the
Do they
fireworks.
get the fire out? Who
Fucking
knows?
bootleg firework. Damn fire. How'd the fire start? It was these damn bootleg fireworks.
Yeah.
Oh,
until he
shit.
started saying "get the water N-word," until that point, I thought that was Jerry's video from last July 4th.
Well, the way I found that video was somebody played that for Artie Lang, and I don't know if you remember Jason Pierre-Paul, the football player who lost his fingers with the fireworks.
No, I don't remember that.
So there's this football player for the Giants that lost 3 fingers with some fireworks, like a few 4th of Julys ago, for real, in real life.
And he still plays, right?
He still plays, yeah. He has a big pad right over, but somebody told Artie Lang that video was of Jason Pierre-Paul.
Really?
And the video of him laughing at that, of like, that's the football player, that's the... It is. Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus, oh, shit.
Like what? That's hilarious. Like when you everything now is like that. 2 girls in 1 cup. It's just like, hey, we're gonna film you reacting to something. It's such a weird fifth wall.
I hate that. I hate when I watch an interesting video, but you got to have some guy down in the corner going. And
There's just infinite. Everybody's going off into another show, into another thing. Someone else's
weird
situation.
That reaction of it's gonna be a reaction of a reaction of a reaction.
Oh man, reaction videos. So funny.
It's such a
like then you have people reacting to the live feed of it in a movie theater. Man, it can go on forever.
It's such a ripoff. Like it's such an easy, like just ripping off people's material and looking at it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a
that aspect I didn't even think about the whole virality of it.
There was a dude that I was looking for a episode of Reno 911 that I was on, and there's a dude I found him that just watches Reno 911 videos, but something is wrong with his face. It's like his eyes are all. So I'm watching this video. I'm like, what's wrong with this guy's face? But
it was from watching too much Reno 911.
He watches it seriously too. He watches it like the crimes that are happening are like serious crimes. He's like, oh shit, that dude's robbing that dude.
Delaney, I went online and bought a digital magnifying glass, and we should use it for this. I don't have it yet, but
what is that?
Then we can see Jerry's videos.
What kind of Satanism is that?
What is it? Yeah, what is this Satanism?
It's just a digital magnifying glass that can go in like 500 times.
Well,
so
you know what? Probably the easiest.
I blow up my screen when Jerry puts a video on. I do my magnifier.
Oh, see, I can't do that fast.
See, and probably what I should do is just like whenever I'm showing something, I should just go to full screen.
Yeah.
So you guys can see it, right?
Yeah. Get us out of there. We don't need to be there.
You can't see them on my camera. My shit all fucked, so it don't even matter. Down here. Oh shit! Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus Christ! Oh Jesus! Oh Lord Jesus! Oh shit! Whoa, whoa. That was awesome. That was awesome right there. God damn. Wow, shit.
Bootleg fireworks.
I think I lost Rachel again.
Oh, we lost Horace.
That's the problem, though. Is like if I lose you, I don't know if I lost you.
No, I'm here, man. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, one time you guys lost me.
I didn't want
to. And then I saw it later, and you guys were just talking about me the whole time I wasn't there, just laughing. Because I froze, and I'm doing all kinds of business, and you're like, Delaney, I can't hear anything. So you just made fun of me for a couple minutes. That's okay. I don't mind that.
It was the most animated I'd ever seen you, and then I couldn't hear it.
Freezing.
So in the video, am I still freezing?
No.
I got to get the Geek Squad in here.
Yeah.
What kind of internet can you get out there? Do you know?
Well, the real issue is I can't start my computer, so that's going to have to be fixed. I'm on my phone, so there's only so much I can do with this.
Okay.
Right, of course.
Unfortunately.
No, you're doing good for a phone cast.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yep. But how are you going to write all your scripts and stuff if you don't have a computer?
I write them by penis.
Well, that's the solution.
I learned how to write with my penis when I was 4 years old. And people were like, "This kid's a genius."
Well, that's all a lot in Chicago.
That's all I can do.
Is that what your homeroom teacher said? And this one's a genius. The rest of you need to wash.
Young man's a genius. He needs to be institutionalized, though. I don't give a damn what he writes. I would only write the flavors with my penis. I would only write the flavors of lifesavers. So that's it. That's the end of the bit.
And there you go.
Write it up, Delaney, for a sketch show.
Some of I could write it, but some of those lifesaver flavors are extremely hard to identify. The yellow one,
not the original though. Oh, you mean? Well, listen, pineapple's white, and the rest are pretty self-explanatory.
Doesn't taste like pineapple.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Pineapple
Take that up with the company.
Any candy flavor pineapple tastes like vomit to me.
That was a mistake. They should have gone lemon for yellow. I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah.
Going pineapple.
Obvious.
I think they do have lemon for yellow. Right?
That's as big a mistake as trying to go watermelon with the green.
Wait, you're arguing about something that I think it's already a lemon flavor. There's not a banana flavor or a coconut flavor.
No, that would.
There's definitely pineapple though, and you can't.
Yeah, there's pineapple. It's the white one.
Yeah,
they don't have watermelon.
It's white. You're right.
No, they do. Green is watermelon.
Green is watermelon? I thought green was lime.
No, sir. This is a comedy podcast,
I care about that.
I care about lifesavers. Sweet tarts, too. Very hard to find sweet tarts.
Yeah, I would imagine there's probably something in that wasn't good for you.
They're still around. They're just tough to find. It's just pure sugar.
Yeah,
They're just giant sugar tablets.
Sugar. Yeah.
So people go crazy and they make everything gummified. So a lot of candies are like gummified.
Mm-hmm. And I love it too. Do that more. I love it. Yes.
I don't like it because they use all these chemicals and stuff, and the stuff to make it gummy is a long list of crazy chemicals.
Is it really? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm very anti-chemical. There's a lot of chemicals in a regular lifesaver, but then once you gummify it, and it's made of horse bones and stuff like that, horse hooves.
Yeah, gelatin.
Mm-hmm. And to get gelatin, you either got to go to bones, like when you eat Jello, you're eating bones, and or you could do it, other ways, and that's where all the chemicals come in. So I feel like it's lose lose. If it's a natural kind of gelatin, you're probably eating cow bones, pig bones, horse bones, whatever bones, chicken bones.
And then when you buy, and of course, when you buy the candy,
you guys out of your mind.
You buy the candy at whatever Whole Foods, and it tastes like shit.
Yeah, it tastes like garbage. You just leave it there for a year, try to palm it off when some child comes over. They don't want any part of it.
That's my review of candy.
Gummy. I'll tell you what's in it. Corn syrup. That's the worst thing that's in it.
Actually,
Sugar.
It's not.
Oh yeah.
Well, it gets worse.
Sugar.
It gets worse.
Water. Gelatin. Citric acid. Natural and artificial flavors. Pectin.
So
vegetable
that is
oil.
not a vegan product. Right there, we've lost our veganism.
Carnauba oil, leaf wax, so it doesn't stick. Yellow, yellow dye, red dye, blue dye, and yellow dye. And that's it.
Okay, so it's the gelatin that scares me. But you're right, Jerry. That's not too bad on the chemical.
This one, though, these aren't the Haribos. Haribos might have some different stuff in them.
Is that a premium gummy?
What are those? Are those healthy?
These are Albanese. Yeah, these are supposed to be gluten-free, fat-free. So these might be healthier.
Is that Rory Albanese's gummy company? No. Yeah. Where'd you buy it?
At the drugstore.
Who remembers Red Hots?
I love Red Hot.
That probably has plastic. The stuff to make it hot.
Yeah, it's the same thing, Red Hots, isn't it? Ferrara Pan from Chicago.
What's it having?
A lot of gum.
They made lemon heads, and they made those, and they made Grape the Apes, and they made Alexander Apple.
Where's the
Carnauba wax? Jerry, your product has a wax, and sort of these Red Hots.
They all have it, so they don't stick together, because otherwise it would be just a big ball of gum in the box. Where was the factory at in Chicago?
Somewhere in the South Side. I didn't know exactly where, and I don't know where they moved, but they did have a sign by the 290, the expressway. So I don't know, maybe around there.
There's a chocolate factory too, right? What was the chocolate that was made in Chicago?
Oh, they closed. I think they closed that. Bombers Chocolate. Yeah, and it was great because this neighborhood would smell like chocolate once in a while.
Yeah.
Like it would, like a cloud of fucking chocolate would fly in the air. You just, it was strange but great.
That is nice. Roger, were you here when they Manhattan started all of a sudden smelled like maple syrup?
When what? Manhattan? Oh no, I don't know.
You mean
I don't remember that.
9/11?
No, not that one.
When that plane full of maple syrup crashed into
one day about 20
Empire State Building
in September, and all of a sudden it just smelled very syrupy on the whole west side. Nobody could figure it out. They said it came from some factory in Jersey, but I don't see how one factory can do that.
I do remember that vaguely.
It just smelled pleasantly maple. It's like, it's not supposed to smell this pleasant in Manhattan. Something's wrong here.
And then everybody like kind of like in a trance walked to pancake places. Like you couldn't get a seat at the diner by my house because everybody was like getting pancakes. And I think it was a government experiment.
Mind control experiment.
Yeah. We can make it go anywhere if you make it smell like maple syrup.
You got to go to a pancake house because there ain't no waffle houses in Manhattan.
I thought about moving to near the Frito-Lay factory that makes crunchy Cheetos?
Not
So
for
you
the
smell
Fritos,
that?
because
You
just
smell that
because
every time you go outside of your house?
Oh, I see. I was gonna say, just because you move there doesn't mean you're getting free Cheetos.
You can get free Cheetos, or they sell them at a very good discount. The ones that are very weird, like a
Irregular? You
Cheeto,
saying you buy a
like a
regular
Cheeto. If a
Cheetos?
Cheeto comes out circular, it's like put it in the bag. They don't like that. It's got to be like little fingers, little weird like circus freak fingers. I know you can't say that anymore, but yeah.
Should we
That's what crunchy Cheeto
Freakish
is. Now
fingers.
that's what they palm off as crunchy Cheetos, which people pay a premium for. I can't eat crunchy Cheetos without becoming sick.
What? Why? Because of the salt,
Something about
phosphorus.
them. So about that concentrated Cheeto-ness. It's too gross. It's like chewing on a piece of grizzle or that one hunk of burnt meat on the bottom of the pan that no one wants that used to be fat.
I do not feel that way at all.
Well, I saw people take them down by the bag, so maybe it's because I didn't grow up on them. I wasn't introduced to that until I was kidnapped and taken to the deep south.
But that does bring up a good topic of like what do you find gross that most of America loves? I can't think of one right now, but there are a few where I'm like, ugh, I hate that taste.
There's
When I
also
was a
things
kid,
like
black licorice was like, who the fuck eats black licorice? It's the worst thing in the world.
I can eat it now, but no, as a kid, black licorice was. Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Yes, why? Who would put themselves through that?
Yeah.
You know that scene where Charlie Chaplin eats his own shoe when he's snowbound in a cabin, just him and his friend Big Jim, and they're so hungry they decide to eat Charlie's shoe.
Yeah.
So Chaplin spent 3 days shooting this scene where he eats this nice big shoe, and it was made of licorice. But the thing is, if you eat too much licorice, it causes liver damage. It almost killed him, literally.
What do you do? Fucking 1,000
because he's
takes?
such a perfectionist. He had to keep eating that shoe.
Oh my God! Bring me another. Bring me another piece.
Bring another, darling.
Darling, bring me more.
The shoe gag will make this film. And I will make fun of Hitler.
That way. He had the most proper English voice.
We're on a different movie. No, I will make fun of Hitler.
I'm on a noble quest.
Well, let's get back to the scene where you're eating the shoe, right? And you're like, what the fuck? Look how fucked up my life has become. Okay? Well, then we'll talk about the Hitler one. Talk about that later.
Werner Herzog ate his shoe. He made some bet he made with the crew or something. And so, of course, they made a big stink out of it, and he got a short film out of it, probably, of him eating his shoe. He also flung himself into as kind of an act of, I guess, solidarity. He put his crew through such a nightmare in one of his pictures that at the end of it, he promised to throw himself into a nest of cactus.
Yeah.
And he did.
It made sense at the time as I promised it, but then as I was rolling around in the nettles, it occurred to me
that's the worst Werner Herzog ever.
As I rolled around in the nettles, it occurred to me that this is a foolish gesture. Nothing was accomplished by making the bet or by rolling around in the nettles.
Well, he's an artist, so you gotta like. So he's gonna try a lot of stuff. You gotta throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And he's had a good enough record of things sticking, right?
Or not.
I mean, what would we do without Grizzly Man? What would life be without Grizzly Man in our lives?
Oh my God!
I think Werner Herzog has like a lot of things projects that you don't know about that didn't stick.
Oh, I'll bet. The guy's made he's made like 100 movies, and he's really blurred the line between narrative and documentary. It's all kind of become one in a way. And sure, he must have all kinds of experimental stuff, including features, but he's probably got plenty of shorts and oddballs too.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Fitzcarraldo? I'm sure you guys have seen Fitzcarraldo.
Yeah, of course.
No, I have not.
It's pretty great, just because it's like just keeping in mind what they went through, and then just seeing the product. It's like so great. It is like Apocalypse Now, where like the crew begins experiencing what the characters in the film. So it's like where Werner Herzog is like, yeah, that's what I want, you know.
And like Apocalypse Now, there's a movie about the movie. You know, Apocalypse Now has Heart of Darkness, and he has Burden of Dreams, the documentary about shooting the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a better picture than the movie.
He's credited for Burden of Dreams too, right?
I don't know.
He also got a triple out of that because he used that's the footage that he used chiefly for the third movie he got, which was My Best Fiend, the movie about his friendship with Klaus Kinski, the madman actor, who was the star of Fitzcarraldo, of course, and his insanity, and that's an even better movie than Burden of Dreams. Is My Best Fiend.
They're all good except that crystal one I didn't care about.
Crystal.
The one where he goes into a crystal cave it's only allowed 1 hour in the day where you can see it, and it's like he goes through all the shit to go see those crystals.
No, it was cave paintings. It wasn't crystals, it was cave paintings. What do you mean? What crystal?
I think it's called like Crystal Cave.
No, Cave of Forgotten Dreams.
Maybe it's another movie. We need someone who's watching and listening to just start putting up links to all the, they put up pictures of what we're talking about so that it settles everything. Like,
I know, right?
You guys, this is happening.
I saw a Werner Herzog documentary called Cave of Forgotten Dreams, where he got to go inside this cave because they don't let people in for very long because of all the vapor. It's going to destroy the paintings. And these extraordinary, I'm sure you guys have seen them in National Geographic, these extraordinary cave paintings, which are just tens and tens of thousands of years old. I think it's in France. Anyway, they got to get in there and get a really good close look at these. And the fact that it was on a big screen, it kept me going. I said to myself, I'm really happy I went and saw this in the theater because I don't think I would have sat for 90 minutes.
You went to IMAX. Screen. You went to IMAX Super.
It was actually Small Max that we have in my neighborhood. I live in Westchester. We do have IMAX. There's an IMAX right down the street.
You got to have a Super Max.
Jacob Burns is not known for they're a film center, not known for their large
So what
screens.
happened? Sorry to get you off track.
It was great. I thought it was great. But, watching that on a big screen has different kind of impact than on a small screen. Like watching any movie, like 12 Angry Men, has so much more impact when you watch it on a big, fat, honking screen. And sitting at having it black and white halfway across the living room.
Jerry, are you still doing the goggles and stuff?
Haven't in a while, no.
But did you ever watch movies like with that?
Oh, yeah, all the time, yeah. Yeah, all the time, yeah.
You can make
virtual reality.
I think I tried to do that with or at least I saw it where you're watching a movie in your glasses, but there's also seats, so it looks like you're in a theater, like
Yeah, it looks like you're in a theater with a bunch of cartoon people, and actually, you can sit with people and watch something, so other people virtually can watch a movie with you, and they're sitting in the theater like right next to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird. Do you think in the future they will invent a new kind of movie that's a little more holographic where you're there, that's more like this virtual reality stuff, where instead of having it be a two-dimensional image, you're there. So you can, if it's Citizen Kane, you can look around the room and you get to decide who you're going to close up on. Because you're
I've always been surprised that it's never caught on. I mean, even in the virtual reality world, it is popular, like having these virtual like rooms. So they have virtual rooms where you can, or like these whole like what do you call like sandbox, where people can create rooms and you go in, you can play games. People create stuff where you can drive cars around or whatever. Everybody's got their own headset on at home, and you see people walking around. And there's a lot of rooms where people just sit and watch shit, watch a game,
And
watch
so
something.
how you control it with a joystick, like where you're going, or if you're picking something up?
Yeah,
Like it's
and
just slapping the guy's butt.
Now that's where you get into interaction. The movie I'm conceiving, you don't interact, but you are an observer, and you can look around to a certain extent.
yeah,
But you're a fly on the wall, but you feel like you're there.
yeah. They have that. So they have it where you can walk around. We have people set up stuff where where you're stationary. You're just sitting in a seat. You can move around in a seat, but everybody's focus is supposed to be on the screen. It's a theater. They have it where it looks like a theater, big theater, or whatever. Like it can be just a room, and everybody has chairs, and you sit there and you watch, and you can see the other people and over their avatar or whatever they choose that's watching the movie too. You don't really have to interact, but everybody's watching the same thing, basically.
That's very different than my idea of a movie. My idea of the virtual movie isn't to be virtually in a movie theater. It's to be in the so.
Oh,
If
in the movie.
If the movie was Chinatown, I want to be there in the field.
Oh,
I want to be able to
I got
look
it.
up, and see the water. Not be in
I got
theater.
it. Got you. Okay.
But I think
That's
that's
ba-
not
yeah.
for another 100 years.
I mean, there's.
Maybe 50 or 25.
It feels like what you're describing is a game, and there's plenty of virtual games.
Speaking of which, look at the last century. We all remember the year 2000. What about the year 1900? Did we have cars? I know we didn't have
1900, yeah.
planes.
1900, there were cars. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure. They
coming
weren't they weren't mass produced. They weren't start being mass produced until the 20s, right? Or right before the 20s.
We turned some serious corners in the last century. And I feel like, have we turned a really major corner? The big corner this century is the internet was already discovered in 99, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The internet, of course, caught on. We did turn a big corner, the fact that everybody's got a computer in their pocket. That's huge. The internet really blew everything open. So we have had a big revolution already. I guess AI is next.
Microprocessor is what did it.
Yeah,
microprocessor.
Right.
The ability to have that much information and that much power, computing power in your pocket, and the ability to be able to be online over the air, I think. Because
the next
all that
big
stuff,
corner seems to be AI, of course, right?
I don't know. There seems to be the argument that it's a lot of business whatever hype, and that AI is just simply automation, that the next step of automation that we've been dealing with forever. And so if we think about it as the next step in automation, it doesn't seem like this big leap of AI. AI seems like, there's this huge leap where computers are going to be able to take all over these functions that human beings are doing, which we've been thinking about that for a long time now, since whenever, since the 30s.
My hope is that
machines.
the AI can accelerate things like research that takes a certain amount of man hours, that those kind of calculations and problem solving can be concentrated. Particularly
when we describe AI as doing that, that is the basic function of a computer. That is the function of a computer. So
absolutely.
I think when we think about it as like, it's AI, we think, then that means it's this huge leap into the future. And what is computing? And we think of like, no, it's just the next step of computing, computation, of computing. And then that brings it down to more of the level of like.
It is novel because AI is constructive instead of just being the internet where it's just an information superhighway. No, it's a creation entity. Or at least the illusion of creation.
Illusion. Yeah.
But hey, if it can make a blacklight poster, that's not an illusion. You can print that and hang it on your wall. That's no illusion. Unless the poster is of an MC Escher, and then it will be an illusion.
Well, large language models are all, it's all predictive, right? Which was happening before. That's part of what was predictive text in your phone when you got ready to think when you were making a text, and a word appears and says you're thinking about writing this word.
In my world, it's almost always wrong.
AI is wrong a lot too.
Oh, no one said it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's still dazzling. No, I just see it's the nanotechnology that excites me. Not so much, I know visual, a lot of, when we think about it, we think about things that we see. But it does affect our lives in a lot of other ways. And also finding solutions to like cleaning up the water. The water of the earth is pathetic. We should be ashamed of ourselves at the state of the place. As you well know, coming from Flint, Michigan.
Yes.
I think people should hold water a little bit more sacred and take care of their rivers. Whoa, listen to me. Getting on the
I think
pulpit.
in a lot of ways, we do more than we used to.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't even have an EPA until the 70s. Which, of course,
well, now you're talking about that. No, we don't have that. Yeah, they're going to get rid of that. So, yeah. That's going away. Don't worry about that. No, we used to think, just dump it in the water. Forget about it. There was a lot of human history of doing that. Put it in the water.
That's the way they always did it, because the water was so vast. There was no way they could foul the whole thing. The harbors were gone away. Foul, but there's no way you could overfoul the ocean. But then once the chemicals came into the story and the nukes, because we set off plenty of nukes underwater in the ocean. We thought. Well, also though, idea.
People don't. You can dump stuff in the ocean, but every once in a while, something comes to shore. You're like, oh shit, there's shit out here.
Yeah, like all the medical waste that flows up on the beach in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I'm kind of prepared. If I live long enough, eventually it'll be martial law. You'll be like, well, I'm 90, so what else am I going to do? All I need is my TV, really. So if they make a lockdown.
You only got to last till 2028 for the martial law.
That's the way things are going, maybe, but I always thought it was going to be when I was older. It's getting here too close, too soon, too much going on there. But anyway, we'll talk about let's not talk about that.
What, the apocalypse?
The Pope is American, the new Pope?
Get out of here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, USA.
USA.
Really?
I didn't even think about that. I do see somebody waving a flag in one of these pictures.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
There's never been an American Pope. Has there ever?
No, first one.
For real?
Yeah.
I'm an American Pope. American Pope. That's
now we
series,
do it like
American
this.
Pope.
You can smoke your dope. I'm an American Pope. Pope Leo.
Born in Chicago.
Oh my God, even better.
What? Wow. Now you can eat sausage on Friday. That's a Catholic joke there.
Yeah, they'll change it. Pope can do that,
Chicago and Pope. You got a Cubs fan for a Pope, Raj? Well, you're not Catholic.
Maybe he's probably on the south side. He's probably a Sox fan. Who knows? Maybe.
Oh. Yeah, no, they're the richest organization in the world. One of them. He must be a White Sox fan.
No, the NFL, then the Vatican.
NFL?
Yeah, NFL's got more money than the Vatican. That's unsurprising. Because football is the real religion of America.
It's like the sedative, like they say television's sedative, but football really is the big sedative that you get.
And like all religions, football divides people, divides them right down the middle.
Football is weird, man. There's no other sport like that still exists. I mean, I guess boxing, but boxing isn't what it used to be. Nobody pays attention to boxing really. Not like they used to.
Right.
But football, man.
Right.
That's crazy. I thought by now football would have been like, I didn't think it would be outlawed, but I thought nobody would be doing it. I thought after like the head trauma stuff, it's like nobody's gonna let their kids play football anymore. And it'll just die because the kids aren't playing it. But that's not happening because it's still Florida and Texas.
Yeah, no, it's a risk that it's like, yeah, it could happen, but then again,
well,
it's
like
part of that lottery life that you're like, you want this dream of becoming super.
I didn't know too. There's kids now. Like Drew Brees lives around here somewhere in my area, and I see him around. He coaches flag football, and these kids play. He played flag football up until high school, so he didn't get. Yeah, he didn't get the shit beat out of his brain. Growing up, that didn't start happening until he went to college. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he got the skills to play, but then again, it's just like, yeah, you can do that if you're playing quarterback, but what if you're a defensive end or a a lineman? You're not gonna get that big if you're just like hanging around and you decide to try to play football in the 12th grade. That's just not gonna happen. If you're gonna be doing that, you're gonna be playing football from a young age.
I guess football is a good way.
If you're a defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could be like. Well, I guess like when you're a kid, you're playing everything. But by the time you get in high school, you can be playing flag football and defensive end. How you gonna learn how to play, real defensive end if you're not tackling?
It's a way to use your gigantic size for something legal and constructive. All of society says get into sports. It's good. It's wholesome. It's right. It's all American. It's all positives.
Yeah, it's just football.
Football doesn't get mentioned. But
football is the only sport that like that. I mean, all sports you can risk brain trauma or whatever, but football is the only one where you're going to definitely get some.
Just a touch, just a dash.
You're gonna get.
I guess there are those guys. Like, yeah, I'm surprised that Terry Bradshaw could even be on camera. But
it's
he wasn't the defensive guy. He wasn't the guy that was always hitting heads with everybody. Like,
he wasn't always getting, and it's a crapshoot. Just some people, it just seems like they get affected worse. They just have brain damage, and it just happens. You don't know.
I thought they'd be wearing rubber helmets. To be honest, I thought that the helmets would just be like foam almost.
They do. They have those helmets. You ever seen those big giant ones that they wear sometimes?
Yeah, they make them a little bigger.
The big, like Rick Moranis in
Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
Yes.
Yeah, the big dark helmet.
And I guess they wear that if they've had a concussion or something. But I'm like, why don't they all wear that?
Yeah.
Then you feel like a dog with the cone on the field.
I mean, it's a helmet though. If it's a if they can play in it, then why doesn't everybody wear it? I guess maybe you're right. Maybe it's just too big. I don't know.
I mean, if it was like this big, then you hit somebody and you're just gonna get your neck injured too. Because now they have a big pad too.
It seemed to me it'd be more prone to getting a neck injury with that big giant helmet on. Out there like Mayor McCheese.
I think when children are growing up, they should mold their heads so it's more sturdy. You make your child's head smaller so that you can fit a special helmet up.
You got to move your whole body.
Like you could make your head like your forehead. You can make it kind of like indented here. You still have your brain fully developed.
Yeah, so that's not a bad idea to take a mold of your head and then make a custom helmet build your helmet.
Well, I'm
out
sure
from
they do.
there.
I'm sure they do that already, right?
So that thing, those helmets, it's a thing that you put. It goes over their football helmet. It's called a soft guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the question.
So I
why
think
not
that
give
they just
everyone soft guards?
because I think that the individual players get them, and I'm not sure if they actually do anything. It looks like it's just
Because it's the jostling of the brain that causes the damage, right?
It's the inside, yeah. So it's like
It's
not
like
even getting
it's like
not even getting
your
hit in
brain
the head.
Rattles in your skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in your skull, right? So, and I've had a few concussions, so I'm sure it maybe enhanced some terrible thing. Maybe made depression a little worse, perhaps.
Yeah, who knows? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all had our bell rung a few times.
Have you hit your head where you're like knocked out? I mean, have you been knocked out?
Yes.
You
I've been knocked out a few times.
Probably had a concussion.
Yeah, I knocked myself unconscious on my birthday once, and I was afraid they'd make me go home or something, and so I just didn't tell anyone.
Where did you fall?
I was a young kid. I was running through the garage of the Science Museum with another kid. All the other kids were up yonder. Me and one kid were just running, having a great time, and all of a sudden, bang! And I wake up on the fucking ground. That kid was nowhere to be seen. No.
Yeah, he freaked out.
Hey, friend who invited me to his birthday party, are you okay? That kid just caught up with the rest like it was Willy Wonka's factory and left me there. And so I shook it off and just joined the group. And never a word was said till maybe this day.
Do you remember feeling weird afterwards, or I'm sure you were?
Definitely got my bell rung, but it was my birthday, and we were at the Science Museum, one of my favorite places because they had the dinosaur exhibits.
Right.
And no, I was psyched. I wasn't going to let anything fuck up my birthday. Nothing like a brain injury.
My favorite museum is also a dinosaur museum. In Chicago, the Field Museum.
That's
so
right.
You love the dinosaurs too?
Yeah, I used to draw them, and my buddy was a super freak, and he could name all of them. But I didn't get that into him.
If you go enough, there's not a lot down there.
Read all the books.
You get to know them.
Yeah.
Somebody said the Pope is bringing that Chicago deep dish pizza to Italy.
Right. They don't have that there. Only Americans would eat a bowl of cheese.
Hey, you guys, I got something for you. Now that the conclaves is over, let's have some deep dish.
First thing we gotta do is change the water at this fucking place. I need a pizza. I'm bringing my pizza chef from Cicero. He's gonna. First off, you give him a job. Don't give me red shoes. Give me a fucking fire pit oven, right?
And there's all these videos of Chicagoans being like, oh, by the way, no one in Chicago eats deep dish pizza. And it's like, fuck you, my asshole. No one eats deep dish pizza.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Plenty to go around when you were there.
Yeah, every place had, there are a lot of deep dish places, but and of course they were open and popular because people went there. It wasn't just because tourists wanted something weird to eat.
Mm-hmm.
No, people eat it.
I mean, thick, and also I used to eat thick dough pizza. It was pan pizza. That's what I would always eat on special occasions. And it was
Which
like
is
this.
different
The
than
dough was about this
Sicilian?
thick. Think about what's between my eyeball. That was just dough. And there's a lot of cheese up there. Then the sausage is up to here.
Sausage.
And it's only clumps of sausage.
Yeah.
Not the whole. I don't really like the whole sheet of sausage on top. It doesn't need.
Oh, you don't like that?
I don't want to see chop. No.
I'd rather have crumbles.
I suppose I would too, but I don't mind the slab on top.
Yeah, no. It's delicious either way, but that's how I prefer it.
Tastes good.
Well, I bet the Pope likes it the same way. Hey, Pope, you like the slab or you like chunks?
Before,
You know they're going to ask him.
before we go any further, I just want to say that my favorite kind of pizza is tavern style. And we didn't call it tavern style. We just called it regular, normal. And then people started making the dough bigger. Well, this is around the time that Pope John Paul was shot. You guys remember that time?
That's right.
This is
right.
Keep things
papal
papal.
pizza.
I know we got to keep things papal, but I want to just get this out before we start all this other stuff. Where, I gotta, I gotta pray to some things and put out some candles. Obviously, do some praying, some thanking people. But I'm really concerned I'm not going to get the right type of pizza out here. The way I see it, when I've been here, I've visited, and they just throw little clumps of cheese on it and a nice piece of dough, and it's like you need this whole thing covered in cheese at least once or twice or third times over. So that's my concern. But it's a pleasure being here, being named Pope.
Being Pope.
Been a cardinal for a while, and I've been thinking about it for a while. It's my dream. It's my dream. Like like a basket. Like people want to be Michael Jordan, I want to be the Pope. That's it. So I'm happy about it, but also I want to bring, some of my laid back vibes to the Vatican.
I also want to say very happy, but I also want to say Steve McMichael, God bless, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
I'm happy to be Pope, but
sainthood. Boy. If anybody's gonna get sainthood in the next couple months, it's gonna be Steve McMichael, Mongo. Also, Bozo and Mongo are gonna be saints. If I have anything to say about it.
Did you ever go to Mass, Horatio?
Probably once or twice, 3 times. Like, yeah, when I was a kid, maybe.
With
but I didn't go regularly to anything. No, my parents weren't churchgoers, so it wasn't a regular. I went in there to pray for toys and stuff.
Did you go with other relatives, or you just like?
Sometimes your relatives would take you. When I lived in Chile, we'd go to the big cathedral.
Yeah.
And we would go inside and we'd check it out. And I'd pray for toys.
But you didn't. But you didn't sit for mass. You just prayed for things you wanted.
Yeah, I kind of maybe tuned that out and was just thinking about Jesus, please. There's this toys. Yeah, Joe truck that I have, and what would be great is a helicopter to go with it.
From what I hear, a little boy in Chicago.
You can make it happen if I believe in you.
The G.I. Joe helicopter had this button on the side you could press, and the blades would whirl. Problem is, if you whirled it too much, too fast, they would fly out, and there'd be a Vic Morrow situation.
Yeah. They would fly on the road, and then they'd start bombing villagers. Like if you had any toys that were villagers, they would set them on fire.
That was worked into the scenario of this military compound that you have collected from these toys. That's clearly what the helicopter's for.
It's for.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever think of that?
You buy the. If you buy there's a whole slew of other G.I. Joes you can buy. They're smaller, and a lot of them are just everybody, women, children, everybody everyone. A gun comes with all of them, and it's pretty terrifying.
Can I tell you something awful? Nicky Katz, my best friend growing up, Nicky Katsopoulos, he had older brothers who were much older, and they had some of the old G.I. Joes, where there's rubber bands between the limbs, and they looked a little weird. The faces were painted, and they looked vaguely Asian. And so a lot of new G.I. Joes came in and took their place. He had a huge collection of G.I. Joes. So those guys always had to play the hostages because their limbs were off. It was very the deer hunter. Because they were all...
Kids were paying attention too. Oh, you're missing limbs.
So
that's the first thing I thought.
Hostages. They were these hostages who were in a pile in the corner. It was like Gitmo. It was awful that there was these like built-in prisoners missing half of their limbs.
Well, and that the Americans are taking hostages too.
Yeah.
And before they become hostages, they get their fucking limbs ripped off.
Yeah. You want this to happen to you? I'll rip the rest of these limbs off.
This is before Bush brought back torture, but I mean, come on, did torture ever really go away?
Gomer Pyle.
Indoctrination.
I mean, the next beat of the scene should involve Barbie, but I'm not going to go there.
Well, I had sisters too. Lots of Barbies around.
Well, the GI that was what I thought when I was a kid. I thought like, oh, they're doing this for Vietnam. Like that was the war that was going on, or the closest one when I was a kid. So I just always, Well, I did connect MASH to Vietnam too, but it wasn't. It was about Korea. But when I was a kid, I thought it was about Vietnam.
It was literally
what, Gomer Pyle?
No, G.I. Joe
was based on Nam.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought it was.
All
about Vietnam. Yeah.
It was very jungle heavy.
Yeah,
a lot of jungle themes. There's always a booklet you got with whatever toy you got. It always came with some kind of vehicle or some kind of station, military station. But it also came with a booklet with an adventure.
Yeah, like a comic or something, right?
Yes. Usually in some jungle setting. Because we don't fight wars here. You fight the war over the other places.
Well, that was what the war was. The only wars that we fought were happening in jungles. Then I'm sure, like later on, because it was all desert.
There's also astronauts. You know.
Yeah.
Scuba also.
Yeah, the scuba.
The one I had, I remember he had like he had a beard. A G.I. Joe. He had like a.
They did. They had like
scruffy beard.
The kind of guy who can grow a beard in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like very high testosterone.
Yeah.
They had the same peach fuzz on the head. Was the same as the beard. Very rustic. Very
Yeah. Very,
and also
raw.
Again, I thought like Vietnam, like that was the only time you saw. Where they didn't have, where soldiers were out so long, they didn't have a grooming standard, and they had, beards and stuff. Because in World War II, they don't have any facial hair.
No, you saw that on the islands from the guys on the islands in World War II.
My brothers had World War II, the war they were portraying because it had the Nazis with the scar. And they
Wait, every G.I. Joe has a fucking gash scar.
And they're blonde, like what? Some of them are just blonde plastic, so it's no. So those are the Germans. You're like, oh no, they're blonde and it's plastic. It's not fuzz, and then they have a big ass scar.
Yeah.
That's the Third Reich. The Third Reich one.
Very much so.
Did you know that those scars were like a thing? Those scars were a thing in Germany that you cut your face and it meant you were like for real.
No, you weren't supposed to cut your own face. It was supposed to be a scar.
Nazis in Germany, they were like, if you're the real deal, you're gonna have to cut a thing in your face. And so they're like, the more crazy it was, like the more you were committed to Hitler.
That's fucked up. Yeah, this guy looks like Aryan Nation. He's got the blue eyes, the blonde eyebrows.
Looks like Mr. Clean.
Looks like if I was a young gay boy, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
The future's looking pretty good.
I think I got this.
This is 1964. He's got full beard.
Yeah, this is the one I'm used to, but there's so many different
ones.
ones.
I remember. He came with the troubleshooter.
Yeah.
They had a lot of.
I think the scuba one probably didn't have hair either because you didn't want to wet it. You know, I think they were special ones that you could dunk in the water in your tub.
That's a really old one. Wow.
The next step after GI Joes is Cub Scouts, the pre-militaristic organization. So you get used to putting on the uniform and marching around.
You know it wasn't supposed to be that, right?
I don't know how it began.
It started in England, and it really did start out as a adventurer kind of thing. So if you're think more of like old turn of the century adventurer going to Africa, shooting a rhino.
Okay.
It came out of that kind of tradition. So when you think about that and the way the uniform looks, then yeah.
Right. You got the shorts.
I think there was kind of a military aspect of it, but I think that was really, really not a big part of it.
Well, that was the American interp.
Well, I mean, you know, does that surprise you? And the Americans actually had, before the Scouts kind of took over, there were a few different ones that were rivals. Even when I was a kid, there were some rival ones, but there were some rival ones like back then when Scouts first started that were American based. The Scouts
there must have been
English,
plenty, and also
British.
Also, imagine how many local chapters of that kind of thing must have popped up. What was Wes Anderson's gang in that movie about the two kids who run off, who are in love, and the kid's a scout, but it's not Scout. I don't know if he made up his own thing, or if
I think he might have made, or it might have been a real thing. I don't know.
He probably took the opportunity to make up his own, but he might have researched whatever different kind of scouting organizations there were in the past.
Yeah, I think there were a lot. There were a lot of them.
Interesting. I did let Milo do Scouts for like one session.
That's great. Yeah, that was one of the things I couldn't do when I was growing up as Jehovah's Witness. They wouldn't let us do Boy Scouts.
Really?
So he was a military officer, Robert Baden-Powell.
Raj, were you a Scout?
No, my brothers were like, that's for, you're going to get molested in there. That's for homosexuals. When I was a kid, that's how they were like, don't do that.
So you are right. That was his idea, was for them it was military. It was.
Yeah.
Delaney.
The guy who started the Cub Scouts?
Yeah.
Get everyone prepared for the military?
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
It's indoctrination, man.
Yo. No, Barbie's her own version of indoctrination. To be a homemaker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
not so bad.
To have your dream house.
Maybe we should have more Barbies around here.
Maybe the Pope, God bless him, will do something about that.
Really, I don't know what's going around with young men. Now we're all older men. We've been through relationships, and young men now today they're not learning the right thing, which is sneakos going around and your what's his Robert what's that guy's name? The guy was here. Anyway, they're not nice to ladies.
Like Andrew Tate kind of shit?
Yeah, Andrew Tate's, yeah. Don't listen to him, listen to me. Wash yourselves, wash your privates, put on colognes, learn how to go and invite a nice lady out to a dinner or a movie.
And men could get their hair done too. Men can get their hair nice and short. And make it look like you put some effort into the goddamn date.
Yeah. And stop playing with yourself so much.
He's steering it now.
That's the end of advice. Oh, well.
Talking the kind of edge. A lot of the edge is taken off comedy, but people have just tripled down instead on talking about their genitals, getting very graphic about sex.
You know what? It's weird because it felt like there was a time where I felt like there wasn't enough talking about it, but I think you're right, but in a not sexy way, if that makes any sense.
No, it's a little raunchy. I don't know. You just get a lot of scenes where people are really deconstructing the genitals and getting into a lot of graphic detail about sex acts and parts of their body where seems a bit gratuitous.
Well, who's doing that? Who's doing such
Everybody.
things?
Improvisers.
It sound like my kid. Everybody. Oh, everybody's doing it.
Improvisers and stand-ups.
You know what? I found like the last
stand-ups loves talking about their assholes.
The last a show I did, last improv show, which I hadn't done one since COVID. It seemed like the audience was demanding a lot of raunchiness.
What do you mean demanding?
That was they kept giving the suggestions. All the suggestions were sex, like, oh, do it. She's a stripper. She's, like every suggestion was raunchy.
That's gonna happen if you dip the toe into the short form arena or the medium form.
I just saw Mark Bratton say hi. Hi, Mark. How you doing, baby? God bless you. Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, I just saw that.
No. Hey, Mark.
Mark was always good to talk like, oh, tell me about being a policeman. And he'd say, well, I'm not one anymore. So does that tell you what you want to know? I did whatever I could to not be one anymore.
Well, he was when I was there. Well, he still worked there when I worked there. He still worked for the police.
I think he's been at this point now. I wonder. I would love to hear what his thoughts are, because I would imagine that now he's been away from it enough where he probably doesn't even like. I'm sure he remembers it, but he doesn't even think of himself as a cop.
All right, this is for oldie, but do you remember the cartoon within the cartoon of, obviously, we're big fans of Fat Albert, and the cartoon within the cartoon was
Black Hornet.
Green Hornet, right? The Black Hornet.
Brown Hornet. Mark retired in 2017.
So if you think of remember the sidekick of the Brown Hornet was
Stinger.
If you think of Stinger, the cartoon, if you remember in your mind, that's what Mark Bratton, that's what he looks like. He had a cartoon character made after him.
His picture is up here. Oh, Stinger.
Yeah, we can see him.
Do you remember who the Brown Hornet was when he wasn't the Brown Hornet? Or was he always the Brown Hornet? Like he didn't have an identity, right?
No, it was always like the kids were always like, yeah, let's watch it, and then they would cut to it, right?
And then it would just be him. He
yeah,
didn't.
You never see him at home or them as you never saw them as like they're not
alter egos.
Power.
Yeah, because it seemed like he just went around in space looking for adventures to get in. Right?
They were good, whatever it was.
Yeah, he had a spaceship. I remember that.
When everybody was buying cells of cartoons, I bought a Brown Hornet and Stinger cell.
Really?
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Was that Hanna-Barbera? That cartoon? Cosby Show?
I forget who it was.
That's a good question. I have a cartoon cell. Connor Ratliff gave me a Martin Short, a cell from the opening of the Completely Mental Misadventures of Ed Grimley. Now, Grimley, Martin Short stole a page from the Cosby show, Cosby Kids book, because in the Martin Short cartoon, he had a show. His favorite show was Count Floyd, and he
Oh
would always
yeah.
watch. He would always tune in to Count
Oh,
Floyd, and we got a little Count Floyd segment. Joe came, joined the cast. He got a whole slew of SCTVers to be on that show, plus Jonathan Winters.
And now wait a minute. And then when he watched the cartoon, Count Floyd, did it cut to a reel?
Yes.
It cut to a real thing of Count Floyd, didn't it?
Floyd was live action, but
Live
sometimes
action.
he'd tell a story. Sometimes Count Floyd would try to tell a scary story, and it would then go to animation, and then cut back to him. But no, Floyd was live action when when Ed would watch the show. There was another little secondary game that he had in that Ed Grimley show that was a lot like Tennessee Tuxedo, because they always went to see the professor, and he would help them get out of their problem. He had the 3D BB, the 3D blackboard, and he would explain everything. He had a couple of scientist brothers that had their show where they'd explain it all to you. And you'd see their little segment. That was Marty and Jonathan Winters played the little scientist guys. How they work that into the show, I don't know. But it's 22 minutes. You got to fill it up. You don't want all Grimley for 22 minutes.
Sure. So what the hell? Explain that again.
Well,
another show within the show.
Oh.
And Fat Albert was Filmation, which I will say that Filmation was were the worst. They shit. They made animation shit for kids in the 70s, and it got worse after that. They were the ones that
that was the beginning of the end?
It was the beginning, yeah. Because they would do you see it in Cosby Show. It kind of started showing in that where like every time the kids would be walking, it was the same background. And they would they'd always be in a group in the same way, in the same pattern. And it's like, what the fuck, man?
They just used the same shit every time.
Use the same, yeah. And they do that. And then they had like I remember they had the Brady Bunch cartoon. Like every show became a cartoon. Filmation was just they just really ruined it for
there
animation.
was a Brady Bunch cartoon. I think they lived in a treehouse most of the time. And they had a big old dog.
They did. They had a dog. Yeah, everything has a dog.
You remember the Beatles cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the same people who did the Jackson 5 cartoon.
That was pretty horrible animation.
It was terrible animation, but it wasn't that bad of a cartoon.
Yeah,
and it had their music in it, which was crazy.
Yeah, it had real music. That was mind blowing.
Kept it going.
Yeah.
To hear the real Beatles on TV was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Because it was so protected. Yeah. Before we had the internet, you had to go buy it.
That Three Stooges cartoon, I didn't care for, but they did do live interstitials. They were old as hell. They were all like old men by that point.
I wanted it to be Curly, but it was Curly Joe still. Even in the cartoon, they got Curly Joe in there.
I know Curly wasn't coming back.
Curly Joe was such a bad copy. I always thought that too when I was a kid. I'm like, what? Why give him a different name, Curly Joe? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, give him another persona like Shemp.
Yeah. Well, Shemp
I guess they're like, we'll give you a show, but you got to have a Curly. You got to have a fat guy. All right.
That's the irony. People always dog on Shemp, but the irony is that he's the more accomplished actor. He did those W.C. Fields movies and stuff. He retired from his movie career to come and to take care of his brothers because Curly couldn't work. So he had to step in, take care of the family business.
I love Shemp. I really do. I honestly think he's my favorite.
I have a new appreciation for Shemp later in life.
And Joe Besser was a comedian on his own right when he joined the Three Stooges.
Had to have been. Because he was already middle-aged when he came in.
Yeah.
You don't just become a stooge at 54, not having done this.
Hey, don't fuck with my dreams, man.
He only did the Stooges for 2 years. It was brief.
That to me is the worst. That to me is just unwatchable.
It is.
Those Joe Besser years.
Yeah, they're rough.
He also substituted for Bud Abbott.
That makes sense.
That when he played the little kid
On
with
the
the
radio.
lollipop, that must have been a huge, huge hit on the vaudeville stage.
Well, that was a vaudeville archetype. There was a lot of people did that playing that. I think the original was in film was Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Fauntleroy. It is. That's right. I'm looking at it right now. So Shemp died of a heart attack at a boxing match in 1955. Columbia had promised the theater owners that the Stooges had 8 more comedies in 56, and only 4 were completed when Shemp died. So Jules White, that's why they had to hire Joe
Besser.
Yeah.
Of course, Besser is Joe Besser is Matt Besser's uncle, but I don't think he has Stooge blood in him. I believe he's not a direct descendant of a Stooge.
I thought that he did. I thought he wasn't related to.
He is, but not by blood. But he is in the family. He is. Joe Besser is in the Besser. Besser is of the Joe Besser family.
I think Besser should get a DNA test and see what's up.
I'm Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
Doing surprise DNA tests on people. You're probably wondering why we're set up in your garage.
I don't want to know what's happening. No.
No,
I want to know. You gotta check this out. You gotta really see this. It's a real doozy.
Just have a seat for a moment.
You have no Stooge blood. No Stooge blood, but my aunt.
like that show Finding Your Roots on PBS. You know, there's got to be somewhere like your uncle here. It says he used to torture people. You're like 3 generations back. You had an uncle that killed people for this certain regime. Like you're like, I don't want to. Let's stop. There must be that, right?
Well, who was it?
Slave owners.
There was somebody. Yeah. Well, Ben Affleck. He found out his family has slave owners.
Ben Affleck. They dropped the wow.
There was somebody black too that found out that their family had owned slaves. They had descendants that had owned slaves. Yeah, but yeah, Affleck I think was one that found out his family owned slaves, or somebody in his.
Yeah, and that's a pretty trippy thing. There's horrible shit in all of our backgrounds. If you go.
Sure.
I mean,
absolutely. There's
who knows?
How can there not be? Because
who knows what's in? Yeah,
I mean, so many thousands of ancestors.
Right, and then quite a large percent of us are Genghis Khan, so you know what he did. Because Genghis Khan fucked his way across Asia, that a lot of us have his genes.
Oh, is that the theory?
Yeah.
There's a little Khan in everybody. Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Pete Davidson of his day.
Genghis Khan coming out of Mr. Chow today.
Another puppeteer, another dancer, another shadow actress.
Can you guys imagine being in vaudeville having to do the same act year after year?
It's one of the reasons I don't do stand up. I mean, I just, the people that do it, I think for me, it really does take a kind of killing, deadening of yourself and the best ones make it seem like they've just come up with it yesterday, but I can't imagine doing the same act every night and being happy and talking to people. That
wasn't my dream. I never really thought about stand-up as being a thing I should do or wanted to do. Never.
No, never envied that. I envied Michael Palin and Dan Aykroyd. I never imagined myself doing that kind of thing, but I thought that would be a swell thing to do. But stand-up never seemed like a desirable thing to do.
I saw Jay Leno when I was in high school.
Where at?
It was at some auditorium. It was like a football. It was like a basketball stadium. And he was that big at the time. And this is like he'd done, he'd been on Letterman a few times. Probably
he was
4 or 5
amazing.
times. So he was huge back then for that.
Yeah, he was so great on those. He had like a weekly slot on Letterman, and he always killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I went to see him. I loved it, I don't know. Why did I bring that up?
Well, I mean, you didn't do it.
Oh,
you didn't want to do it.
I liked it. Oh, yeah. So I was a fan, but I didn't think like, ooh, I wish I was up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is that you'd think that I would be, you would feel that way because I'm trying to be funny, but I was like, no, I like those other guys. Like what they're doing seems better, easier.
Well, I did do it.
It was never a thing that I wanted to do.
I did do it, and then as soon as I found out that other people were doing something else to be funny, I did that.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing on stage was what I was trying to get to what I would be doing with somebody else, and it was like, oh, well, this is way easier if I got somebody to talk to.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just trying to do this by myself,
Right, and the other underlying thing too is I don't want perfection. I don't want to have to do this joke 50 times to get it exactly how I want it.
No,
I just want to say what I say, and that's the art. I'm saying it now. I'm thinking it now. That's the art.
So if you watch the latest episode, if anybody watched the latest episode of Hacks, it's all about that. And the episode is about so she gets this talk show. She gets a late night talk show, and her writer is like, I want this show to be better. And, we're going to be doing this talk show, so it's going to be bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And it is. And the lady is like, she figures out, hey, I got to do the same thing that I was doing in my act. Like I got to go for the laugh. I got to go for, and the show tries to play it down the middle of like, hey, you know what? You got a talk show. Sometimes you guys got to do this kind of stuff. It makes people happy. And then the other side is where the writer is like, are we just going to be doing bullshit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it kind of ends. I think that's going to be the theme of the show, because the last episode kind of ends with the question still being up there, of like, well, what are they going to do for the show? And the
I wish
the
I
star,
got Hacks.
It's on HBO. Yeah, I mean, that show's pretty good with all that stuff about comedy.
Network, HBO, you could do worse than HBO.
Hacks is on Max.
Hacks is on Max. Yeah, it's really good when it's dealing with that stuff about comedy, like it's called Hacks. What's hacky? What's
they
worth doing?
UCB. Paul Downs and Lucia make that show. I had a chance to teach those guys in a class together. They were like a twin brain. Those two, they just fell completely in love with each other.
Who?
And
the creators, the creators of Hacks, and they're they're on the show too.
Yeah, they're both performers.
A lot of references to UCB and stuff too in the show.
Is the agent? The agent one of the creators?
Yeah,
he's really good.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. Yeah,
that's Paul.
That's great. Yeah.
They do a really good job in that show. You probably know a lot of people that are connected to it, but I like the stuff that they deal with as far as with comedy. You don't usually see that on a lot of shows of like those questions of like, because the audience really doesn't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care what's hacky and what's been done and what hasn't. They don't care. They really don't. I mean, unless you're really, really into it. And those people tend to be a little bit annoying anyway. So,
if you want a mass audience, you have to really, it sounds cliche, but you have to dumb it down.
You got to train your audience. You got to have the opportunity to play long enough that you build it up. It really takes time.
There you go.
To see that being at UCB for 20 years, because we had a lot of long-running shows, and the profiles of people at a Swarm show or a Stepfather show and the other shows were very different. And the Harold Night profile was also different. Maud Night was a little different than Harold. There was as they say, every audience is a trained audience. A Broadway audience knows what to expect when they go see a musical, and they have certain expectations that you don't want to let down. And I think certain comedy audiences have that same kind of thing. It's up to you to raise that bar for yourself, but it takes time and resources. I think one or the other.
Ringling Brothers once said, the Ringling from Ringling Brothers, he said, Make it stupid, asshole.
No, it's keep it simple, stupid, Raj.
Oh, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah.
Make it simple, asshole. Misa. Make it simple, asshole.
Make it stupid, asshole. Is he trying to
Now
say
go
kiss,
fuck yourself
keep it
and give me a coffee. What? You can't make Horatio laugh too much. He freezes up. Make it simple, asshole. Let's see where we. Here we go.
I always preach simplicity.
Well, I like what
I
you
agree.
said.
I agree. I agree, Delaney. The dream is to bring everybody up.
And it's always like a balance, right? Because you know when you're ahead, if you're ahead of the audience and they're not getting it, they're not laughing, then what do? You wait?
Because SNL was a lot of doing stupid shit that that I didn't necessarily want to do again. But then you start getting into the idea of, I'll make it interesting enough so that anybody could watch it. Like someone who was thinking like, UCB level or above. They would be like, oh, I get this is funny to me because he's doing this, and also playing a giant, always playing a giant gag somehow was also there, but also just like making this kind of weird, something came up when we were watching Rap Street, our old rapper characters, and I was like, it wasn't just that we were old rappers. That was just one thing, but then. I think it was either Higgins or one of us was like, yeah, but they're Vietnam vets. They're so old that they went to Vietnam. Like that was the extra twist. So it's like there's always something like that going on where like someone who's like really funny be like, that's fucking nuts. Why'd they do that? That's great. So that's how you do. You got two guns firing, one down, one up.
Yosemite Sam.
Yep. You gotta Yosemite Sam it sometimes.
Well, I can't see you. We're going on 2 hours, but we can hear you. Do you want to end it?
Yeah. I think so.
We should wrap it. Rod, so you've gone up into the above the atmosphere of the Earth again. It's nice to.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Just from here, we hear you, but we don't have your video signal.
That's funny. My shit's so wonky that all you get is my voice. Internet's like, nope, not enough. Just voice.
No. What? Yeah, why it made that decision, I don't know. It's kind of neat, though. I've often thought about.
I'm trying to. Well, I have this little cloth here, and I was trying to make it like a curtain when I went to go pee. So I might have two curtains next time where I close it in.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll know that I'm away from I'm away from the screen.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we've covered a lot of
ground
here today, fellas, haven't we? Covered a lot of ground.
I think so.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Another good one.
I can't even keep track of it, but there's people already.
They're all fever dreams. They're all fever dreams.
Remember, but we touched on a lot of subjects. I think we just covered a lot.
Yes.
I think we educated a lot of young men that were going into comedy. If maybe this will help you decide what you want to do.
The Three Stooges would say edumacated.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
And then he would smack, and then Mo would smack one of them saying that.
He drills someone's face. He literally drill into someone's face.
Literally drill their head.
Literally a power drill into the face.
They would, but more likely it would be a hand.
Stay still. Stay still.
Let's use new technology. I hear they put power in these drills.
What? Plug it in. How do you plug
it in? Check it out.
Plug it in. What do you mean?
Your eye.
I never heard of such a thing. Well, here, let me demonstrate. ow, 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 ow.
Oh my God. Didn't stop us from eating it up. You know, the world's new stooge, Steve Martin in The Jerk, he'd used the power tool beautifully. When he had that buffer, he's got a buffer in car. He slowly brings it down the second it makes contact. Boom. He booms off screen.
I don't know why I thought, when I was a kid, I thought the funniest thing in that movie was that man picking out his name in the phone book and deciding to kill him. It's like... And the man going, ordinary motherfucker, ordinary, ordinary piece of shit.
Maven Johnson, a typical American.
Typical, ordinary
motherfucker.
Yeah. All right, fellas, thank you so much, man.
Yes, peace, peace, peace.
Peace, everyone.
Peace. See you next week.
Yeah.
Sirs.